Something else I'd like to point out that I think sometimes get missed by contractors is this kind of profit margin fade or gain right here. This isn't due to any kind of adjustments you had to make because material was more expensive or your production rates were slow. You could hit all of your budgets exactly and you might still see a profit margin fade or gain. And the reason that happens is based on how you're processing change orders as a subcontractor. So I can see when I went from my original margin to my revised margin, I experienced a profit margin fade of 0.49%. So what we can do is we can basically take a look at all of your change orders for that project to understand what's happening here. We'll kind of talk about how you can use this change order tool to understand your profit margin fade or gain. So what this is doing, it's going to give you a list of all of your different change orders on the project. So I can see, all right, what's my original contract amount, original budget, my change order contract amount and budget, revised contract budget. I can filter on different statuses or just look at the approved ones. You can toggle things off or on. But what this timeline view is going to show is basically the dates that you're processing each change orders. How did that impact your profit margin percentage over time? So I can see on 12/31, that's where I saw the most significant drop in my profit margin. So I can actually select this here. It's going to update this grid down at the bottom that lists out all my change orders. I can kind of drill into this specific change order number 2. That seems to be the culprit here. And I'm going to see, the change order comments I entered from foundation, the change order budget amount, the change order contract amount, what the actual cost code breakdown was. And importantly, I can see what this change order profit margin is. So I can see my change order profit margin on here was 8.9%. And if I go back to my original profit margin on the job, it was 27.26%. So obviously, if I'm issuing change orders at a lower profit margin, I'm going to see a profit margin fade like that. So this is a really good tool where you can kind of drill in to see how a project manager is processing their change orders. Because I think that's something that sometimes gets missed is a lot of subcontractors in particular, they might bid a job at a 20% margin, but in their subcontract with the general contractor, they might be limited to what they can put on for markup for additional work. Maybe it's only 10 or 15%. And, sometimes that is what it is. But understanding how that actually trickles down and impacts the final financials of the project is a really important thing to understand and make sure you're doing.